and welcome to this workshop on vision setting. I am Hillary Johnson, the founder and CEO of Hatch Tribe, and I coach and mentor primarily women entrepreneurs, helping you build really powerful, profitable, and purposeful businesses. And purposeful is a really good word to build into the context of why vision setting is so important. There are a lot of things you can choose to do with your life and with your business. And setting vision is a really important part of getting grounded and getting aligned and understanding what's deeply important to you so that you can build a business that's truly in alignment. And also so that you're really pursuing a business that allows you to live the life that you want to live. And you'll note I'm using a lot of strong you language here because visions are unique. Just as you and I are both very unique, different humans, what we want out of life is different. What you want versus the girl next door or the guy next door is different. And if you really tap into that, what you'll find is that you'll build a business that's wildly aligned to what it is that you want out of your life. And that's one of the ways that we're allowed to build a business that's, quite frankly, joyful and one that feels purposeful. And one that's going to allow you to generate that income and revenue that you greatly desire to live the life that, again, is important to you. So here's where we're going to start. And I just want to remind you as we jump into this, you're going to hear me talk about each of these pages. Just hit pause and take the time to complete each one of those pages before you move on and just work your way through it. So first up, I'm going to walk you through this life assessment. Life, sometimes we talk about it as being juxtaposed between work and life, that work is half of it and life is all the rest. And this does a bit of disservice to the fact that life is made up of so many more facets. It's not just a bucket of all the things. So here you'll see we've broken down life into 9 different domains: family, friends and social, fun and recreation, health, inclusive of physical, mental, and emotional health, spirituality, personal growth, which could include things like intellectual pursuits, being creative, etc., environment and home, or say your physical space, career, in this case, your business and your work, and financial. Now, for each of these 9 domains, there are 2 questions on the left. What is your experience in this domain right now? And I want you to note what's good about it and what's not so good. So let's just talk about fun and recreation because this is a fun one, pun not intended to pick on, especially when we're talking about business owners. You may observe your current relationship to fun and recreation and say, God, I don't even know what I do for fun. I spend so much time working on my business and trying to build my business that frankly I'm exhausted. By the end of the day, I take care of my family's needs, or I maybe get in like a date every now and again with some friends, but there's little time left over for me to pursue, pursuits of my own. I don't know what fun means to me anymore. This is a common conversation I have with business owners. So if that's you, just know you're not alone. So you may observe that in the case of fun and recreation. Conversely, you may observe in some areas where things look quite rosy and quite positive. Maybe you look at health and you say, I've been putting a lot of energy into making sure my mental and emotional well-being is on point. I'm meditating. I'm meeting with my therapist, every couple of weeks, and I feel really good and stable here. Okay, awesome. So whatever it is, I want you to note your current experience in this domain at this moment in time. Note what's good, what's not so good, and treat this with kid gloves. Don't fall into the trap of harshly judging yourself. That's not what this is for. It's more for shining light on the things that are working and shining light on the things that are not working so well. Then I want you to shift to the column on the right. And the question we want to ask ourselves when we're thinking about setting up a vision is, what do we really desire? What do you desire in each of these 9 domains of life? What do you want out of the area of family? What do you want out of the area of friends and social? And just walk yourself through each of those domains. You're going to notice as you build this that there are going to be some gaps between where you are right now and where you'd like to be. And that's okay. And again, it is not meant to be a place to pass judgment. It's meant to be a place to expose the areas that we would like to start shifting and like to start making change. And this is critically important to set up some context for your vision. So take your time to work through this page, working through these 5 domains here, as well as the next page, working through the next 4 domains. When you're finished with that, I'll meet you on the next slide. Now, we're going to start on this page by identifying your personal vision. Now, I want you to think about these questions and really answer at a place from considering your life as a whole, knowing that, of course, your career, your business, your work is inside of your life, but really zoom the lens out and think about the bigger picture of your life. You already have some context now for what makes up life with those 9 domains. So the first question is, what does it mean to you to live a great life? What defines a great life for you? Take your time and think about this. And again, note there's a strong use here of the word you. I want you to tap into what's meaningful to you and not necessarily what you think you should do or what perhaps society has passed down or what perhaps even your parents, have insisted that is important. What do you really want? Now, next up, I want you to imagine that it's 10 years from now and you're living your best life. If you were sitting in that moment 10 years from today, you could say like, damn, this is the best it's ever been. What does it look like? And I want you to illustrate this with as much detail as possible. Now, if you're working on this worksheet and there's not enough room here, flip to the back of the page. Let this be as long as it needs to be. And then the last question is, I want you to reread what you wrote to those prior 2 questions and ask yourself why. Why do you care? Why does that vision mean something to you? And I like to tee this up by beginning to write the answer down with, this is what I want because. The why is really important. Why do you want it? What's in your heart and your soul that says, this is what means something to me? Give yourself a gift of pausing just for a minute to get curious. Why do you want this? Why do you care? So take your time here, and then I'll meet you on the next page. We're shifting gears now to talk about your professional vision. Of course, here what we're talking about is your business, your work, your career. And we're going to follow a similar train of thought on these questions, starting with, what does success mean to you? And how do you define success for your business? And I really want you to challenge yourself to dig into this. There are sort of common definitions of success that would be about generating wealth or generating fame, or generating a certain level of growth and reaching a certain goalpost. And those may be things that are important to you, but they may not. And this is again where I'm really going to ask you to set aside societal expectations, set aside familial expectations, those spoken or unspoken things that your family or people close to you want. And even set aside what you're seeing on social media or what you're seeing, just in media in general. Get closer to your heart. Get closer, get curious about what success means in your definition. Then I want you to imagine that it's 10 years from now. What are you doing professionally? What's your role in the business? Do you still own it? Do you have other businesses? Have you expanded into other work or income streams? And for this exercise, it is not about how to do it. This is more about the desire. What do you really want 10 years from now as it relates to your work or your career? And to be clear, just because I've asked the question, do you still own your business? I'm not planting the seed here that success means selling your business. It could, maybe, or it could not. Also, I'm not suggesting that expanding into other work or income streams is what success looks like. For some people it is, for other people it is not. Again, I challenge you to tap into your heart and ask yourself what you really want. And here, do give some consideration to the business and how it overlaps with your life. Based on what you want out of your life on those 9 domains, what's that business look like? Now, I want you to imagine it's 1 year from now. So we're taking a different view, different time lens, and imagine it's the best year you've ever had in your business. What's happening? And why is it so amazing? So take some time here, and then I'll meet you on the next page. Okay, we're going to dig in a little here into your work life. And what I'm going to ask you to think about is the work that you're doing regularly in your business. So the things that, week in and week out, these are the things that you work on. The first part is I'd like you to shine some light on areas that are really positive. And the question I want you to ask is, what work or work activities are bringing you the most joy when you do them? So if you think about the average week and you consider all the things that you get to do, what are the things that when you sit down to do them or when you're actually in the activity of them, you're like, yeah, I love, love, love this. What is it? And then the next question is, when do you feel most inspired in your business? When are those moments that you think back to when you first started it and go, oh yeah, this is why I did this. I love this. When is that happening? And the last question here is, when are you in your zone of genius in your business? And think about the zone of genius is it's a place or it's sort of a skill where you're exceptionally talented at doing it and you find immense fulfillment and joy in it. In many cases, this is when you might find yourself in the flow or in the zone where you're like, I drop into this activity and it's like suddenly time disappears, it vanishes, and I'm totally caught up in this activity. I'm really good at it. I enjoy it. What are those activities that you get to work on in your business? Now, I do want to look at the other side too, though, because it's really important. If we want to, build a really powerful role for us in our businesses, we want to really do more of what we're good at and what we love and less of what we don't. And so let's look at these things that we don't totally love. So what work or work activities do you hate or dislike doing? These might be things that just simply zap your joy. Like when you have to sit down to do them, you're like, oh God, kill me now. I hate doing this. It's the worst. I didn't start my business to do these things. What are those? Next up, what are the activities you stink at doing? These are things that you just have you have a lack of knowledge or skills or even the temperament for it. You're like, this is not a good use of my time. I just stink at it. What's that? And a good question to ask is, what are the activities you'd love to get off your plate? There may be some right now that you're just like, dude, if I didn't have to do this ever again in my business, I would be a happy, happy camper. What is that? The reason for this exercise is truly to help you land in your role in your business. As your business continues to grow, of course, you can keep doing things you love and things you hate, but why would you? You have the ability as a business owner to create, really suck this up for a minute. You have the ability to create your reality in your business. If there are things you want to be working on that fulfill you, that you love, that you're really good at, why would you not create your role so that you can do mostly that? Really, why? So spend some time here, and I'll see you on the next page. This brings us to this question: what is your ideal role? So as you start bringing together the vision for your business, the things that you really love working on, the things that you really don't, I want you to ask yourself what you do want to do. And at this point in this exercise, again, remember, we are vision setting. We are not planning. And so here, your only goal is to focus on the desire. What do you want? Let's set the vision. So imagine that you wake up on Monday and you get to do exactly what you want in your business. You are suddenly able to do only what you want to do, and everything else is taken care of. What would you be doing? What specific things would you work on? Take your time and illustrate this with as much detail as possible. This is going to create a vision for that powerful role that you can play in your business. Take your time. I'll see you on the next slide. Now, let's examine this from a different lens. If we know what you want to be working on, let's now think about the component of time. So for this activity, again, don't worry about how to do this. This is not the purpose. Today we are vision setting, so focus on the desire. Imagine that you wake up on Monday and you get to do exactly what you want in your work and life. You've just crafted the vision you want for your business and the role you're playing. And you're also now considering, what do you want to do in life? Like, what are those other things made up of those 9 domains that you want to spend time doing? What would you do each day and each week? And take your time to illustrate this with as much detail as possible. And of note here, I am asking you to think beyond work and the constraints of your work day and to really think about life. So I'm going to just give a short example to make sure we're on the same page. You may say, listen, in an ideal world, I would get up every day at 6 a.m. I would have an hour to spend just reading and meditating and getting my mind right before my kids get up. Once my kids get up, I would get them together, get them out of the house, and then I would go to the gym. I want to work out and have 45 minutes of a workout every single weekday. And then after I get ready, I would work. Okay, you're starting to get an idea of how this is coming together. So I do want you to be considering the bigger picture. What would a great week look like for you if you really tap into the domains, all 9 of them, that are important for you in any given week? All right, take your time, and I'll see you on the next slide. Now, one of the things we've been illuminating through this process is what's the vision for the business and what's the vision for you? And it started to open up probably a gap. And the gap might be, well, there's some stuff I don't want to be doing, but it's stuff that still has to happen in my business. It could be accounting or marketing or creating sales materials or making sales calls, you name it, right? So what I want you to be thinking about is your business as a whole and really building out your dream team. And again, this is not about how. We're not dropping into the how to do it yet. Focus on the vision for the business and your desire to build it and who your dream team would be. So with that in mind, who are the key players you would want on your team and what would each person be doing? Now, if you have team members currently, I want you to focus primarily on the role they're serving, the actual work that they are working on first and plugging in the name later. And in some cases, we're not going to have yet a person to do it. We just know we don't want to do it. So I want you to dream a little. So I'm going to give you an example here. You may have identified, like, I legitimately don't want to be the person doing all my marketing. And that might include your website, social media, email marketing, and ads. So perhaps under person 1, you put, I want a marketing manager, and these are the things that they're going to be doing. We don't have to know yet who it is. We don't have to know yet when we're pulling the trigger on it. We are simply setting up the vision to say, my dream team includes a marketing manager and whatever else it is that you decide you want. So take some time, read back over what you've written so far and really think about what would a dream team look like? Who are the people you want around you to help you bring your vision to life? Now, I want to say something important here. The size of your team doesn't matter. It only matters that the size of the team serves the vision you have. So if you had a vision that was, I want to build a multi-million-dollar business that has, hundreds of customers and cranks out all these new products and blah, blah, blah. And then you said to me, but I don't want to hire. I'd be like, that's probably not matched to the vision. We need the team to be able to support the vision. But if you said, I'm currently making $100,000 a year. I have a team of 1 with 1 contractor that works with me. It's me plus 1 person that helps me out a little bit part-time. I don't really desire to grow my business any bigger. And I'm also really okay with the amount of money I make. You might just write down that contractor here and be like, these are the things they do. And I'm good to go. So just remember, the dream team is only relevant in terms of how it supports the vision. There's no comparison here. It just needs to match your vision. Okay, when you're finished, I'll see you on the next page. All right, here is where we're going to end today. Now, I want to remind you, we've done vision setting today. Vision setting is about the dream. It's about the what we want. It's not about the how. It's not about the do. But naturally, vision setting is great, but it's what you do with it now that matters. We have to make that transition. We can't just allow ourselves to dream and not really drop into what has to happen. Now, for all of us, myself included, as I'm approaching a new phase in business, just like when you are, there's going to be times we need to do different things. We need to be differently, like I might need to behave differently or act in a different way. And these are all parts of our evolution of growth. And it's not a surprise. People don't love change. Business owners perhaps better than others. But, in general, change tends to bring up, areas of fear and doubt and uncertainty. And when that happens, we all kind of pull back and go like, ugh, I just wish that I knew that this was going to work. I just wish that I knew that I'd be successful in this. I just wish that I was going to be confident. I want to feel confident that when I make these decisions or take action on these visions, that it's going to work. And this is the truth. You can't get confidence without the courage to try something for the first time. So let me repeat that. You cannot get confidence without the courage to try something for the first time. Confidence is really built on our strengths. It's the things that we've done. We've figured out how to do it, and we can lean into those strengths and be like, I've got this and I know. But there are times where we have to lean on courage and bravery to look at things on the horizon, like your vision, and say, I've got some fear or have some doubt, or this looks uncertain to me. I don't know if I can do this. And these are times we need to tap into courage. So I want you to reread what you've written on the pages before. And all I want you to do today to wrap up before we ever get to setting goals is to ask yourself, in what ways will you need to be courageous in order to reach your big vision? In what ways will you need to be courageous in order to reach your big vision? What are the things that you can look at now in that vision and say, man, it's throwing up a little bit of a fear flag. I don't know if I can do this yet, but I may need to be courageous and do these things in order to get there. What is it? So finish up this exercise with that. Where this is going to lead is to goal setting. That's, where we take our vision a layer deeper and say, okay, this is what I want. I now have a clear picture of what I desire. Now I'm going to put, my stamp on it and really proclaim what I'm going to do. And that will come in the goal setting process. But for now, keep dreaming big, tap into where you're going to need to be courageous in order to reach that big vision. And then I will see you in a goal setting session in the near future. Good job today. Chat soon.